Hey, welcome back. Before we get started, let me remind you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Now, a few days after Russia invaded Ukraine, the White House offered President Zelensky assistance in an effort to evacuate, and he replied in what became an instant classic, "I need ammunition, not a ride." And since that time, the Ukrainian leader has repeated that request to whoever he thought might be helpful. And Washington, along with NATO partners, has responded with substantial military assistance, just short of creating a no-fly zone or putting American boots on the ground. That support has been effective in assisting Ukraine against the occupiers, as they call their enemy, and the Ministry of Defense box score lists the total Russian combat losses from February 24th until April 23rd as follows. 21,600 troops, 854 tanks, 2,205 armored personnel vehicles, 403 artillery systems, 143 multiple launch rocket systems, 69 anti-aircraft warfare systems, 177 fixed-wing aircraft, 154 helicopters, 1,543 vehicles of all types, 8 vessels including an Alligator-class LST and the Slava-class Moskva cruiser, 76 fuel tankers, 182 tactical UAVs, and 4 mobile ballistic missile systems. The fight has evolved. As discussed in my Exposed episode a few weeks ago, Putin's original strategy was to rapidly advance to the Dnieper River and cut Ukraine in two with the expectation that by that point, the Zelensky government would flee, the western half of the country would capitulate, and Russia could install a puppet regime a la Belarus. But as we all know now, the Russian advance was stalled along the northern flank, and the campaign to take Kyiv was pushed back. So now it appears the Russian strategy is to redeploy forces to the east, hold the Donbass region, then push along the southern edge of Ukraine through Odessa to create a land bridge that will link sovereign Russia with Moldova and allow them to totally control access to the Black Sea. So as a result of this new development, a few days ago, the Pentagon announced the authorization of what they call a presidential drawdown, it's quartermaster language for issuing gear, of security assistance valued at up to an additional $800 million, tailored to meet what they labeled critical Ukrainian needs for today's fight as the Russian forces launch a renewed offensive in eastern Ukraine. The Pentagon stated that this is the 8th drawdown of equipment from DoD inventories for Ukraine since August of 2021, so well before the invasion. Now, as of April 22nd, United States security assistance committed to Ukraine includes over 1,400 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, over 5,500 Javelin anti-armor systems, and an additional 14,000 other anti-armor systems. Over 700 Switchblade tactical unmanned aerial systems. These are the UAVs that are launched out of mortar tube-looking devices and controlled on iPad-like screens that have been very effective, very lethal. They are kamikaze drones, one-way missions, basically precision-guided flying bombs. They've also authorized 90 155 millimeter howitzers and 183,000 artillery rounds to go with them, 72 tactical vehicles to tow those howitzers, 16 Mi-17 helicopters. These are Russian-made helicopters that can be used either as troop transports. They can also be mounted with munitions to make them attack helicopters. Hundreds of up-armored Humvees, 200 M113 armored personnel carriers, over 7,000 small arms, over 50 million rounds of ammo, 75,000 sets of body armor and helmets, 121 Phoenix Ghost tactical unmanned aerial systems. So this is an interesting development because the Phoenix Ghost tactical drone was never before revealed until this announcement. And during the announcement of this $800 million additional support, a senior defense official told reporters that this new drone was, quote, rapidly developed by the Air Force in response to specifically the Ukrainian requirement, end quote. And Admiral Kirby walked that characterization back later, stating that the Phoenix Ghost was, quote unquote, developed before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He went on to say it was developed for a set of requirements that very closely match what the Ukrainians need right now in Donbass. So I guess the Pentagon was uncomfortable with the messaging that not only were we supporting the Ukrainian military, we're actually designing weapons specifically for the Ukrainian military. So they walked that one back. So this Phoenix Ghost is a low-cost, single-use suicide drone that behaves like any loitering munition and can fly around airspace for a period of time before hitting a target. So this defense official that announced the existence of the Phoenix Ghost in the delivery to Ukraine allowed that it had different capabilities than the Switchblade, but he said, I'm just not going to be able to get into more detail about those capabilities, end quote. And he cited classification as the reason he couldn't go into those details. He also said he has no idea how the Phoenix Ghost got its name, but he said that this new system requires minimal training for the Ukrainian operators who are already familiar with Switchblade or other unmanned aircraft. So continue with the laundry list of what we're giving them: laser-guided rocket systems, Puma unmanned aerial systems, unmanned coastal defense vessels, 14 counter-artillery radars, 4 counter-mortar radars, 2 air surveillance radars. So the air surveillance radars are the AN/MPQ-64 Sentinel radar system that alerts frontline air defense weapons whenever it sees hostile planes, helicopters, drones, or missiles. It has a 3-dimensional radar, which means it can report the range, bearing, and elevation of the objects it's tracking, which is great for counter-targeting. We're giving them M18A1 Claymore anti-personnel munitions, which have been used for years in perimeter defense and also to direct the flow of the enemy during ambushes. We're giving them C4 explosive and demolition equipment for obstacle clearing, tactical secure communication systems, night vision devices, thermal imagery systems, optics and laser rangefinders, commercial satellite imagery services, which will be great for intelligence and targeting for these new systems we're giving them, explosive ordnance disposal protective gear, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear protective equipment, and medical supplies to include first aid kits. So this new $800 million is in addition to the $4.77 billion we've already given them. And as you can see in this infographic, that's far and away more than any other country has pledged towards Ukraine. Ukraine's tactical priorities now are to break the siege of Mariupol and return the country to pre-invasion borders. To accept anything less than that, according to the Zelensky government, would be to validate the invasion in Putin's mind and embolden him towards further aggression in the future. For his part, Putin needs to save face and come away from this invasion with something more than he started with. As a result of these two opposing goals, this war has very little chance of ending anytime soon. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Give me the likes and comment. Check the links below for merch, including where you can get this t-shirt, which is a variation of my channel logo. All profits go to the Come Back Alive Foundation, which directly supports the Ukrainian military with training and supplies, including night vision devices and first aid kits. To date, we've raised over $20,000, so thanks to everyone who's helped so far. If you'd like to help support my channel, please consider using the super thanks, the heart icon below, or become a patron at patreon.com/wardcarroll. And in the meantime, I look forward to talking to you again soon.